Milling Through History presents The Monster Mash.
When Bobby Pickett performed the Monster Mash, what many people might not realize is he was actually making a great deal of faces and seemingly transformed right before audiences' eyes as he performed the song. And yet, when this particular Halloween classic was created, few ever knew that there really were a large number of monsters found within the United States. And so today for Halloween, we are looking at some of the famed monsters that are found within the United States, and as such, we have our own Monster Mash. The first monster to look at is the famed Jersey Devil. According to legend, in 1735, Mrs. Leeds gave birth to her 13th child, and upon delivering this baby, she had said that the devil could have it. Well, if legend were to be true, then the devil did take the child, as, after being born, it went from a very beautiful little bouncing baby with blue eyes and golden curls, transforming itself into a demon. This demon would fly about the house and then proceed up the chimney and out into the New Jersey countryside, never to be physically seen again. Although, after an exorcism was occurred, it was said that it would banish the monster away for 100 years. And seemingly, this banishment did work until about the year 1820, when Joseph Bonaparte, brother of Napoleon, claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil. About another 100 years later, in 1909, even more reports came in about people seeing the creature, and it became so prevalent that it became a very common theme amongst local newspapers. Now, the creature, if you ever try looking for it, is said to be found around the area of Pine Barrens, New Jersey. Now, the area was often looked down upon amongst native people of New Jersey, mainly because the people there were seen as weird, inferior, and a hotbed of criminal activity. So whether or not you believe that there actually is a monster there is up to you. But if you are a monster hunter, you might have a good time heading over to Pine Barrens, New Jersey to see if it's true. The next monster I want to look at is the Flat Woods Monster. It was on September the 12th, 1952, that 7 people raced to the location of a crashed UFO. UFO hysteria and mania was on the rise in the United States, and upon arriving there, the witnesses claimed they found a creature who was 10 feet in height, looking like a giant ace of spade, with red eyes, was stocky and dressed in skirts. The creature rushed towards the group, but then, just as quickly as it came, turned and ran towards a large ball of fire. The 7 were later examined by a doctor when they started to complain about issues with their eyes and throats. According to the doctor, it seemed as if they had been sprayed with mustard gas. Now, attempts to explain what the monster was have been made over the years, but very little success. And so, there have been a number of theories that have been presented. There are those that believe that the 7 actually pulled off one of the biggest pranks of all time, and that the reason for their injuries was because it was a prank that gone horribly wrong. Another theory is that what they saw was a large owl sitting on a branch, and that when the light hit its eyes, that's what they saw. And while we may never know exactly what the Flatwoods Monster was, it is certainly an interesting one of an extraterrestrial creature. Another creature which may have been extraterrestrial in origin or a unique urban legend is that of Mothman. From 1966 to 1967, people in Point Pleasant, West Virginia reported seeing a large winged creature with red eyes, feathered or leather-type skin, brown or grayish coloring, and stood between 5 feet and 7 feet. Now, because of the vagueness of the description, there are those that think this may be some attempt from West Virginians to create a new kind of lore about them as compared to many of the jokes which are usually given to them. And yet, the creature himself has gone ahead and created a unique turn, as many people go out to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, specifically to try and find Mothman. Now, the creature itself has not been seen very often, but with the huge amount of tourist interest that are occurring because of it, certainly his legend continues to grow. A fourth creature, rather unique, is that of Dogman. And when it comes to Dogman, there's many who think that this is actually just another form of the werewolf legend. And ironically, werewolves have been around within society for centuries. In 1887, in Wexford County, Michigan, 2 lumberjacks reported seeing a beast with a man's body and a dog's head. And more recent encounters have people talk about how the creature talks in frequencies above those that people can hear. Anytime shots are fired at the creature, it seems to have very little effect on it. In fact, it's almost as if the creature is impervious to bullets altogether. Now, what's rather unique about the Dogman story, though, is that when Dogmen are around, they oddly attract the Sasquatch, yes, Bigfoot, and that the 2 creatures seem to be mortal enemies. Anytime a person encounters Dogman, the Sasquatch always seems to appear to protect the human. As such, if you really are a Bigfoot fan, just gotta find a werewolf, and he will show up. The final creature to look at is one that comes from Native American lore, and that is the creature known as the Wendigo. Now, this particular creature is a unique one, as in Native American cultural lore, it is attached to principles of cannibalism. The idea of eating the flesh of another human being is so repugnant within Native society that it would create a horrible creature. As such, if you were to do this, you would go ahead and lose almost all weight, becoming a bony creature, insatiably hungry and always looking to continue to eat, and yet never gaining any weight. The story itself was found amongst primarily the Algonquin people. However, in modern society, it is now known as Wendigo psychosis, the most famous case of which was that of Swift Runner, a man who had killed his entire family and then proceeded to eat them. As such, while the creature might not actually be real, the spirit of the creature is one which is firmly implanted within all people, and psychiatrists have been able to identify it as a situation that does occur from time to time.
Everything's cool, that's a part of the band. My monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them what it said. If you can mash, then you can monster mash. Monster mash. And do my graveyard smash. Then you can mash. You'll get on in a while. Then you can mash. Then you can monster mash.
For more information, please consider these suggested titles. Be sure to click on the left-hand side of the screen to subscribe to our show, and on the right-hand side for our latest episode. And we will see you again for the next episode of Milling Through History.